The animal that the ASA fears the most is the lizard. That day, when she came home from school, she opened the door and found a giant lizard on the table. While still not understanding what happened, the animal was lying on the blanket. It's trying to hide itself, but it's showing its tail. Then fly to the table next to the toy and hide. ASA was so scared that he screamed, couldn't walk, and started crying. The lizard at this moment doesn't know what's going on, just takes a doll to comfort her. She was so scared that she had to run away. But because he ran too fast, he fell from the stairs. Hearing the noise, the lizard immediately flew down. Seeing the lizard getting closer and closer to her, the ASA threw a toy over the lizard to chase it out. This side Sarah has finished shopping, was about to go to the appointment with me when she heard a loud noise. Then ASA ran out from the house. She told him there were lizards in her house. Surprised, he asked if she was afraid of lizards. She nodded and he decided to help her catch it. As soon as I entered the house, everything was very messy. After a while of searching, finally found the lizard in a drawer. It was a small dragon. Sora can communicate with it. After a while of hand signing, Sora finally understood. Because ASA fell down the stairs, injured his knee, the little dragon was very worried, so he flew down to see. Misunderstanding has been resolved. ASA apologizes for its actions recently. This is a very warm little dragon. It gives the ASA a flower that represents its warmth. Then the ASA hugged it. Am I now staring at the clock? Sora finally arrived, eager to rush over. Then saw ASA behind holding a small dragon. Am I panicked? But then me and the dragon played together very naturally and happily. The dragon even hugged MI. The doorbell rings, Tazuki bring Koni. The three animals finally had their first meeting. Next will be to find out what food the dragon eats. Give it a bunch of food, it all shakes its head. After trying all the dishes but all failed, finally found out the dragon can eat tofu. At this time, Sora's aunt, who was sleeping in the coffin, woke up. Seeing the dragon, she was very excited. But what surprised her was that Sora had brought a girl home. The ASA gave the dragon a name that was Isao. It also wants to help with the housework. When it saw Sora cleaning the toilet, it took a sponge. Sora prevented it, but it didn't make it in time. MI hit the wall. When he did the laundry, me also helped answer the phone, but it only knew how to bark. No matter what the other party said, it answered woof. Sora's aunt said the dragon's name is very similar to someone who knows how to take care of others. Feeling like an older brother. Compared to taking care of others, me is like someone being taken care of. This sentence makes my heart sad. Isao not only knows how to take care of others, but is also very intelligent, not only literate but also able to write. Taught it in English, quickly learned it, and also worked as a teacher, teaching me and Koni to write. MI used the words you learned to write a letter to Sora. He opened it to see that it was the words forever together. The ASA also received a letter from Isao. The content of the letter is to thank her for everything. Made her very emotional. Finally, Koni gives Tazuki a letter. Tazuki thought to write something related to food. But unexpectedly Koni wrote a letter asking Tazuki what he thought about its presence. But Tazuki never thought of this. Then Koni stared at a turnip in the yard. Although Sora warned it not to touch the radish. But Naughty, not interested at all. It had plucked the turnip. Sora heard a scream. Sora covered the radish with a cloth. This is no ordinary radish. It was sent by his father. Anyone who hears it screams will be in a coma within 5 minutes. If you keep listening, you will probably die. So why raise such dangerous things? Because it's Aunt Sora's alarm clock. While everyone was busy talking, this radish ran away. If the bandage on his mouth falls off, the whole neighborhood is in danger. Chased forever, finally discovered, it fell into the river. It drifted with the current, not knowing how to bring it to shore. MI and Koni want to jump down to pick up the radish. As a result, they hit their heads on the ground. Seeing that, Tazuki and Sora picked them up, advising them to give up. They saw the tape on the mouth of the radish about to fall off. Isao flew over and picked up radishes from the water. Danger is solved. Everyone who saw that praised Isao. Mai and Koni are ashamed of not being able to do anything. When they got home, the three animals fell asleep. Koni had a runny nose. Immediately Mai brought a blanket to cover Koni. Mai also helps Koni wipe her nose clean. Sora just realized now. I don't know why Mai hasn't been as active as before. It turned out that he was very concerned about Sora's aunt, that he was a kid in need of attention. Daichi has been having nightmares these days, still haunted after waking up. All of his classmates were scared when they saw his face. At that moment, Daichi fell on top of Sora. Because Daichi used to riot in the infirmary, he was banned from entering the infirmary. Oliwei, carrying him to the rooftop, who would have thought that at that time Daichi woke up, almost punched Asa. Besides, he was about to scream. These things make Tazuki unbearable, making Daichi afraid to turn around and leave. After school, Sora went to Daichi's class, gave him a sticker. On the way home, Sora also understood. Because he had a nightmare when he slept, that's why. Every sleep has nightmares, so there are many spells in the house, but all to no avail. Sora recommended to visit Daichi's house to see. As soon as he entered his living room, there were many charms hanging in the room. Clean up everything. He gave Daichi an amulet. This talisman can drive away nightmares. That evening Daichi brought the talisman under his pillow. Waking up in the middle of the night, Daichi finds a monster eating his soul. He was extremely scared, so he called for help. In the middle of the night Sora arrives at Daichi's house and discovers that the demon that Daichi is talking about is a fat, round animal. What it sucks is not Daichi's soul but his nightmare. Then Sora found out that Daichi didn't come to class for 3 days in a row. On the 4th day he finally went to school. Because of that animal, Daichi no longer has nightmares. So he slept 3 days in a row. He sincerely apologized to the ASA for trying to hit her in the past. But Daichi and Tazuki's relationship is a bit unstable. When the two are together it makes them both more awkward. The two talked awkwardly. Tazuki spoke first, asking what his hobby was. Daichi sat down and replied that he likes to watch movies. This situation made the atmosphere suffocating. Mai then ran over and grabbed Tazuki's hand and pulled it close to Daichi's arm. I want the two of them to shake hands and make peace. Finally, with Mi's help, the two reconciled. So this same fat animal joined this little demon family. The demons met for the first time, so they teased him. When it gets angry, knock them out. The 4 of them named it Muku. The next day, coming home from school, Sora saw Koni in her room. Finally everyone knows, every morning Koni goes to Asa's house to play. But that's too dangerous, giving opinions, finding a place for the demons to stay while they go to school. Sora decided to go find an acquaintance to ask. In Sora's heart soon chose someone who could do this. Is a statue. In addition to this statue, there is also a deity. After explaining the reason, the god of course agreed to take care of these little demons. After school, children will be picked up at home. These days, the animals are playing at the temple. Mai looked out the window and saw a ladybug, which quickly ran out to play with it. The god saw the open door and closed it. Outside Mai was scared, but no one opened the door. At this moment, Mai heard a voice near me. Immediately hid in a corner, turned around and saw Koni. Two animals communicate with each other. Koni then quickly took me away. God now feels that something is not right. Take out your hands to count the animals. Then the genie found out that Mi and Koni were gone. Mi and Koni went into the forest together. The weather suddenly rained. Koni picked a leaf and brought it home to protect Mai from the rain. Along the way, they encounter many strange things. There was a 9-tailed fox and 3 little goblins. The ghosts were like pieces of paper floating everywhere. And there was also a white dragon flying in the sky. There is also a passing unicorn. To a tree. Coney pointed inside to invite Mi inside. It turned out that this was Coney's house, so we brought out a basin of water for the two little devils to help each other clean the stains caused by the rain. Mi asked if Coney lived here alone. Coney shyly nodded. Coney used her actions to tell me before the rain stopped, stay here. After the rain stopped, Coney took Mi home. That night Coney went out with a lantern. Under the guidance of the nine-tailed fox, he reached the gate of the temple. Pick up a letter from the ground. Turns out me still hadn't said thank you to Coney until morning. So I leave this letter here. On the letter, there was a picture of the two people's heads, next to the words thank you.